If you like what you hear on the podcast today, be sure to let us know about it.
Like, comment, and share on the podcast platform you are listening on.
It's our 200th episode here at Pythian Castle. In real life, it's more like 300.
Yeah, we had a bunch that we had done at a radio station here in Springfield prior to this under a different name. Still same sort of concept, though.
It was the same, it was us and doing the exact same thing. But yeah, episode 200, and it's a big deal to us more than anybody else because very, very few podcasts make it. What do most podcasts make it to? Like, I don't even know.
Most make it to about 20 episodes.
Yeah.
And this is our 200th.
So that's pretty cool. So episode 200 today, we thought we would do...
It's kind of a best of. The idea of it is that Chris and I both had a background in radio broadcasting for years and years. And what would happen a lot of times at the end of the year, they would do countdowns. They would do best of the year. I thought, you know what, our 200th episode, let's look back and let's talk about some of the weird things that we've seen here at Pythian Castle and play some of the EVPs that we've got here at the castle. Because when we first started this, it never occurred to me, it never occurred to Chris, that we would catch things during the podcast as it happened.
These EVPs we played today are going to be Pythian Castle specific more than the investigations, that we've done. We've caught a bunch of EVPs here at the castle, just in our day-to-day, doing the podcast or doing, an investigation or, coming in to help close the place up or whatever. So these EVPs we're going to play today on our 200th episode are EVPs that we captured exclusively here at Pythian Castle, doing a variety of things, whether it's our podcast or, like we said, during the investigation, the closing up or whatever. And we can talk about any stories we've had here as well, because this is our venue. This is where we record every weekend. We're not getting kickbacks for, promoting Pythian Castle. This is just stuff that we've experienced while we are here. And we can talk about, personal experiences that we've had here as well. So this is the one from, I don't even remember how long ago this was. It was a while back. Years, I think. A couple of years.
Yeah.
We were in the room across the way.
You've talked about this on television shows.
Yeah. And I felt the fingertips of a person, it felt like cold fingertips touching my neck. And I've never had that before or since. I'm not a person who gets touched on these type of things ever. So let's go ahead and pull it up and roll it here, and then we can talk about it a little after. It's been quite a few years since we played this one. Here it is. Yeah, that'll be a good one to listen back to. Yeah, man, that scared me. That first one scared me. I took my headphones off. It was so loud, and then I heard the second one without my headphones even on. It just touched me on the side of the freaking face.
Okay, something just touched Chris.
Something just touched me on the side of my fucking face. Is there a spider?
No.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. And what happens with this...
You want me to keep rolling?
It's something.
I don't know what else happens on there. I think it's pretty much his reaction to that.
Yeah, the reason why the Chris audio sounds so different is because that is just the isolated off of his mic.
And it's important for me to point out that it was such a weird fucking thing. It felt like, I always, when I retell the story, I always tell that it was on my neck because it felt like there was one, maybe a thumb or something on like my jawbone, and the rest of them were back here. It felt like something grabbed me by the fucking neck, lightly, very lightly, not in an aggressive way, just a touch, and it scared the absolute fuck out of me.
I think my favorite part of that clip is John giving the play-by-play after.
Yeah.
Chris goes, something just fucking touched me on the side of the head, and John goes, Chris just got touched on the head.
John's like in the play-by-play booth. Okay, what we got here, folks, is yeah, that was fucking freaky. I've never had that again. That's why you could hear me saying, is there a spider on me or something? I don't know why I thought it was a fucking spider. It didn't feel like a spider at all. It did have that weird tingly thing.
It is weird to have stuff happen when you're doing this. I had a wasp land in my head.
Yeah.
That did happen.
Yeah, that did happen. That's the couch that Dustin climbed on with a shoe on his
big wasp
hand.
too.
I'm just going to go ahead and roll through some more of these. This is a whisper. Let me run up here and open this one up, and we can talk about it after it plays. Here it is.
You can see the original bathrooms. Y'all haven't been in this room. Goosebump.
Let me go back to the beginning of that, because there is what's going on here? Is this whenever the
guides were Tamara was away, and so the guides were staying here that night, and they I gave them a bunch of recorders because any chance we ever get to do an investigation here at the castle, I'm not going to turn that down. And so they're like, yeah, sure, we can just, what do you want me to do? I said, just take these and push record.
Yep. And this is what we got. And what do we think it says here? Can we tell?
Can't tell what it is. It's just a whisper of, there's some kind of a whisper, and I'll point it out when this happens again.
Let's do it again.
You can see the original bathrooms.
There.
Y'all haven't been in
Yeah,
this
it's right there. I think I can even go to that spot here if I try. Here we go.
bathrooms. Y'all haven't been in this room.
Yeah.
Classic cartoony.
That's really the common thing. Now, there's some of these in here that are very, very well pronounced, but that's more common.
Let me go ahead and play one here. And I assume this is during the podcast recording, but this is one that everybody hears, which is actually pretty rare. Usually only one or two of us hear these things when they happen. So let's try it out here.
Walking in, this is what the recorder would catch.
Okay, let's go ahead and pull it up here and play it for you.
Did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? When we walked in, it was...
Yeah. Let me go back.
Did you just hear that? Did you just hear that?
I can hear it.
Yeah. When we walked in,
I'm not as close to... Was that you?
I did not do that.
Who just did that?
Who just did that?
I did not do that.
Where the fuck are we here? Are we here?
We're here at the castle, and what's going on is we're playing an EVP, and that happened during an EVP set while we're playing it back.
That's like
there's
so fucking confusing.
That happens in the room.
I heard
with
it
us.
there because I heard Dustin say, "What the fuck was that?"
Right.
So that was during the recording of a podcast.
Right. When I was listening to it, I had to figure out what was happening.
I'm going to go ahead and play. This is the I'll Tell You.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, what happens on this one is we're going in there saying, what does it say? Or something in here, and something jumps in on the mics. The way we do this podcast is we've got computers set up in here, and Chris will play the EVPs off of another computer, but the mics in the room stay live. And so the I'll tell you is caught on the mics in here.
Yeah. And here it is. I'm going to have to refresh myself on this one. Let's go ahead and play it here, and then we can break it down. Yeah. I hear a response.
Yeah.
I can't tell what it is.
I think it says...
It's very faint.
And there was. I hear it. When I first hear it, it sounds. I thought it was you repeating what you thought it said. Here, let me play it again. And let me see. Yeah, I hear a response. Yeah, I can't tell what it is.
I think it says...
It's very faint.
Oh, no? It's not. It's not you.
No, because it comes
because
right over
you
the
talk
top
over
of
it.
Yeah, I can't talk over myself.
We'll move on to the next one here. I always love these that are labeled. I have no idea what this is.
Like, what the fuck is this thing?
Or what the fuck is this? Yeah. So let's see what we got here.
A nail bomb.
This does remind me. Oh, yeah.
we have all kinds of stuff in here. There's also the one that remember that one?
Yes, I do. I got to play this one again, though. I want to hear it again. Here we go.
A nail bomb.
This does remind me. What would that be?
I don't
That's
know.
so bizarre. It's so ridiculous. Some of the stuff we get in here, like the old man sounds, which I would put that into that category, are
just weird. Weird stuff.
Are just freaking nuts. But most stuff we get, EVP-wise is going to be of the more whispery type variety. Now, this one is one of my favorites because it's funny. And we listened to it before we started here because I had to hear it because I think it's so funny. And for whatever reason, I was thinking this occurred at 417 Tap House, but I guess it occurred here. Let me just play it, and then we can talk about what's going on here afterwards. So, is this during an investigation here at the castle, or
this is during this? There was a time that when we would do podcasts, I would go in and put those recorders all over the place, and the "ow" it sounds just like me, but I didn't say "ow."
There was no
because
reason.
These guys were in there. These guys were in the podcast room, and I'd gone over to the bathroom. I came back out, and I was talking, and they said, "Did you just say ow?" And I said, "What are you talking about? I didn't say anything."
Yeah, if you're doing this kind of ow in the bathroom, you need medical attention.
Yeah.
And he just came out going from ow to
just talking.
Hey guys, what's up? What's going on?
I want to play it again because it's so funny. It just starts talking. I don't know. I just think that one is fucking hilarious. This is one where, John, I guess you were here helping close the castle.
I came up. One of the guides was going to be closing up, and she said, "Hey, I don't want to close this place by myself."
Right.
And so I said, "Okay, I'll help you."
Understandable.
So I was there, and I took a recorder and just ran it while we were closing.
Okay. And this is the audio they got. Let me go ahead and pull it up.
You all missed out. That's okay. What lights do we want to keep on? No, we'll keep that on.
Hey, whoa.
What?
You hear that?
What is it that?
It's walking.
Better not be.
It is walking.
What I heard there, I heard the walking downstairs, but I also heard, I think, what was the little dog's name? I've forgotten his name. Marvin. I think I heard him like whining downstairs as well.
This was after a ghost tour here at the castle. And part of what they do procedure-wise is they go room to room. They go everywhere to make sure that nobody snuck off during the ghost tour. We'd already cleared the dungeon area. We'd already cleared the first level of it. And we were on the second floor when this happened. So there's nobody in this building. I will guarantee you that, because we literally went room to room, bathrooms everywhere.
And I can understand her hesitation to not wanting to lock it up by herself. I can understand that, because a couple of weeks ago, it was the middle of the fucking day, and I had to come back inside and lock something or do something. And it's freaky when you're in here by yourself.
It is.
As you know, you're here by yourself every Sunday.
Yeah.
For a while.
It is. It's a very freaky place when you're here by yourself.
And I think I've got, just to go back to that, just so people listening to the podcast in their car or whatever don't have to rewind or whatever, because that's a big pain in the ass. I think I've got it about to the spot where the walking, happened. I'll just play that before we move on.
There.
Right there. Yeah.
Hey, whoa.
And there's nobody else here, so I don't remember this new sex ghost.
Oh yeah,
popping up. I don't.
She made an appearance.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get her rolling here and see what we got on this one. Here we go. You're the one who heard it. It was closer to you.
Dude, she was macking for you.
Macking.
You heard her in the background.
Yeah, I heard. Let's do it one more time. You're the one who heard it. It was closer to you.
Dude, she was macking for you.
I can't get past that. I do hear a female sigh back there. I'm assuming there was no female in here that time. Playing some of our, some of the EVPs that we've captured here at Pythian Castle over we've been here more years than I always think. I can't remember how many, and it doesn't even matter, but it's been longer than I think, like 5?
Yeah, it's 5
6?
years. It's 5 years.
It's been a long time, but we've done 200 episodes. We got slowed down a little bit when COVID happened, or it would be more. But we've got 200 episodes under our belt, which is a rarity these days in the podcast orbit, so that's why we're kind of making a big deal out of it today. Let's go ahead and keep rolling through these. Here's another one that we caught here at Pythian Castle. I've danced around so much in these audio pieces, I don't remember which one I'm on. There's a bunch.
There's the zoom off.
I heard
something
back there. Let me go to that. See if I can go to that spot. It's after I say a bunch. There's tends to be a word pop up. Here we go. There's a bunch.
There's the zoom off.
Did you hear it there? I can't tell what that is.
It's something. And we have a lot of that where there's just these random weird words.
And you can spend way too much time trying to figure out what the fuck they're saying.
And it doesn't really matter what it's saying. It matters that there's a word there that none of us said.
So for whatever reason, Tyler's name has been mentioned a bunch in these. Because by like in the EVP, it seems like the EVPs are saying his name.
Yes.
I think I'm starting to wonder if he doesn't have some kind of attachment to his aura.
Could be.
Ty.
I never had thought about that.
What do you want? I don't think you.
No. Well, let's go ahead and pull one up and see what we got. This is the first one where Ty's name is mentioned.
Turn his headphone up a little bit.
I think they're up as far as it'll go.
Yep, I heard it right there. There was one. Tyler, did you hear it?
See, this all happened on that same podcast.
These were all on one?
Right. Remember that one? And then finally they do. Finally, they jump in and they say it, and he hears it himself. Tyler hears it.
Okay, this is that one more time. Right there. Weird. Let's go ahead and roll down here. This is Tyler's name mentioned number 2, I guess, from the same
This all happened on one podcast.
Nowhere. That's the amount of power you'll have.
But everything that we have recorder-wise and everything is battery-powered. Everything is.
Yeah.
True.
So we could do it.
Okay, I might freak out if we're out in the middle of nowhere in the dark, in the woods.
It is spooky.
And here's
Right there.
Yeah, heard that one.
Why would that be?
I don't know.
A lot of people seem to like me, and I don't like hardly anyone.
Well, it's weird because I was just sitting here thinking nobody likes Tyler. Why the fuck would the ghosts?
I don't know.
Here it is. Here is that spot again.
Middle of nowhere in the dark, in the woods.
It is spooky.
And here's what was
Did you hear that?
What the? 100% my name.
Tyler hears it.
It is, yeah.
And it kept happening so much on that podcast that it finally stops after he acknowledged
Was
it.
this like when his schedule shifted and he was finally able to first start coming?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
He had just recently. I mean, he had been on them before, but then Tyler kind of vanished for a long time because originally Tyler had come in. He's like, oh, no, because nothing was happening. Whenever he and Bobby would come, nothing would happen, and so he's like, well, these things must hate me or something like that. Remember that? And then
No.
Yeah, there was a period of time when you weren't able to come for like a while, several months.
Yeah, he was gone, and then he
was I
came back.
doing?
I have no idea.
It kept doing it. It stopped once he recognized it. We had these Tyler ones that happened. And then Bobby had a deal where Bobby couldn't make a podcast. Then we end up with this very strange one. And Tyler took this back to his house and slowed it down and sent it back to us. And I believe I don't have that particular audio, but it says, "Where's Bobby?"
Yeah, I remember that. I remember him like slowing it down and sending it to us. Tyler's name came up a bunch for whatever reason. The rest of us got fucking dissed completely so far. Maybe this will be the episode where was his name ever mentioned? Hunters?
Not here. It was at
Oh,
Drury.
that's right. Clara
Thompson Hall.
Oh, okay.
We did get that.
I don't fucking remember that.
I forgot about
Yeah.
that. We're going to keep on rolling through these. Now, some of these, like we said, at the beginning, some of these were captured during the podcast. Some of these were captured, whenever, John would come up and help the guides close the castle. And we've even done an investigation here. I don't know if any of these are going to pop up from there. We can talk about some of our personal experiences we've had here after we roll through these. But we do have another one here that I think was probably captured when you were talking earlier about the guards spending the weekend here. I think this may be from there.
Yeah, the guides.
Yeah, or I'm sorry. Yes. Okay, so was that while they were sleeping in the Queen's suite?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The part of the thing that I'd asked him to do is I said, hey, whenever you guys are going to bed and everything, and because they were sleeping upstairs, I said, just put the recorder on and just let it go. We have seen this area. You and I have been in the Queen. This is not in Tamara's area.
Oh,
this is
okay.
This
Gotcha.
is what they call the Queen suite.
Yes.
Got a big mirrors and everything.
Yep. I remember now. Let's go ahead and play it again. There is a whisper back there. Is she asleep during this?
I believe so.
Okay, here we go.
There's that.
I hear the couple of steps and the whisper.
Yeah. None of that should be happening. I know that may not sound ultra impressive, but if everyone's asleep and no one's around, that shouldn't be happening.
Here is another whisper that we captured. I'm assuming this one was probably during the recording of the podcast. Here it is.
Or it gets left on never, and then the screen never shuts down, so it's just fighting to keep up with the energy.
The fuck?
That's what happened.
I don't remember that.
I don't either.
That's creepy as fuck.
That's pretty good.
So that was not during the recording of the podcast.
No, this is during the guides thing.
I'm going to play that again because what the fuck?
Or it gets left on never, and then the screen never shuts down, so it's just fighting to keep up with the
Jesus Christ.
What? One more time. Let me go back to that spot here.
And then the screen never shuts down, so it's just fighting to keep up with the energy.
It doesn't make sense that
That's fucking horrifying. Sounds like a ghoul.
It's a witch.
Like a zombie.
This one is during the podcast. Let's see what we got here on John's mic.
That's the best thing that's the best thing that I've personally heard. This whole the overnight investigation. Here we are,
I just heard a male voice talking.
Yep, it was right there. I was watching, so I go to the spot here. Let me go to that area again.
Here we are,
And hear how it just blows by the microphone like a...
Yeah, you hear Dustin at kind of a distance, and then something comes in almost bashes
So
the
I
mic
was
and
wrong.
just goes away.
This is on Dustin's mic.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that makes a difference because Dustin's talking into that mic.
That's a bigger problem.
So it wouldn't have been, it's something that was, sharing the mic with him.
Well, remember that time when everywhere that he was, his whole mic area, that whole corner of the table was haunted.
Yeah, over in the other room.
Yes.
Yeah, I do remember that. I want to play it one more time though. Not the whole thing, but let me play from the spot.
The overnight investigation,
So that was on Dustin's mic, which that
That's a
changes
problem.
it. Yeah, that
That's
makes
a
it
problem.
different because it would be different if Dustin hadn't said anything, was kind of just sitting back, hanging out. But he was talking into that mic when that happened. I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the experiences we've had here at the castle before we wrap up, because I think I've ran through all of these.
Yeah, no, I definitely think you want to talk about the stuff
But
that's
I
happened
can't.
here.
Yeah, the chair moving. I know we've talked about it recently.
Mm-hmm.
That was a big deal, a bigger deal than we've made of it.
We were in the other podcast room.
It was just us too,
Yeah, it
for
was
some reason.
Chris and I, and we're literally sitting across the table from each other, and this was a table and it was long ways. And I see a chair I see a chair moving back and forth. And at first, I didn't really think that much about it. I assumed that Chris had his foot underneath there kicking it, and he saw it and assumed I was doing the same thing. And then I came back around and I said, "Did you just see that chair move?" And I don't mean it just scooted. I'm talking about it was rocking back and forth.
Yeah, it happened twice.
Yes.
The first time I didn't say anything because I thought you had hit it with your foot.
Right.
When it happened the second time, I looked under the table. Your foot didn't even reach it.
No.
And I knew I didn't do it.
Right.
So, that kind of stuff is, we breeze past that kind of shit. But if that happened in your home, you would be pissing yourself. That was a pretty big deal that we've kind of breezed past a little bit.
The other thing that I think that we don't really talk a whole lot about, because I'm the only one that really has had this happen, but there's a younger female who sounds just like the one on that audio that we played to begin this. She sounds just like her. I've come in here and she said good morning to me. I was in the other podcast room setting up some stuff, and we had a female that was going to be on the podcast with us that day. I assumed it was her. I'm out there and she's talking to me like, good morning, how you doing? That kind of a thing. I'm engaging in some sort of a conversation with her. She's being kind of distant and everything. I thought, oh, well, no big deal. She's just got some stuff on her mind. I look up and I see her arrive in her suburban type vehicle that she arrives in. So it wasn't her.
I remember another time we were having to come in through the back. We were having to use the back keys to get in. For whatever reason, I came in first. You were 10 feet behind. You weren't far. I wasn't coming in, alone. But I did, unlock, come into the back area, and I heard someone pacing, walking, the floor creaking above me, and someone talking. And I thought, well, shit, Tamara's on the phone up there. I'm going to wait for John so, that she knows that we're here. She wasn't here that weekend. There was nobody here, but I sure as fuck heard somebody talking upstairs, and the floor creaked like 4 or 5 times. So, that kind of stuff happening here at the castle is not uncommon.
Just a few weeks ago, we had a deal where I was... everybody else went out the front. I went out the back to lock up and secure the castle. As I'm walking through, I'm hearing footsteps following me. I turn around, nothing's there. I kept going again, and a guy says something. It was a male voice when I was leaving here, and you'd said Dustin had said something about a male voice.
He did.
As well.
He was standing up by the front door on the outside of it, and he yelled down at me in the parking lot. He said, "Did you say something?" I said, I didn't say anything. And he thought you said something inside.
No, I had not said anything, but somebody said it was a male voice.
And then when we did our investigation here, obviously a lot happened. One of the things that we forget about that happened is when we were first getting ready to set all our recorders up, and we were just recording at that point with a handheld, because like we've said, told people before, you start recording from the beginning, and that's what we did. So it was just a handheld recorder because we hadn't even set these recorders up yet. And we were walking through that dining hall up there, and we heard not only something walking behind us, but we heard that screeching sound, that weird animalistic screeching sound. We heard that, we recorded that, but then when we went downstairs, the first thing we saw when we went down the stairs, nobody had been down there. We were going down there for the first time that night, and that big fucking chandelier was swinging wildly on the ceiling. And now the ceiling down there is concrete, and first of all, there was nobody above it. We were all on the stairs. It doesn't matter, you could stand above that thing and jump, it's not going to move, not like that, and probably not at all. But yeah, the chandelier was swinging as though someone had just reached up and give it a shove.
Well, that night of the investigation, we went into the theater area and something took all the cups and everything out of the cupboard and threw them everywhere.
I had just been standing in that exact spot, just listening because we had recorders in there. I was doing EVPs and asking questions. You guys were outside that door in another room, so I thought I'm going to go out there for a little bit. I don't seem to, nothing's really happening in here. So stepped out there for maybe 3 minutes. We went back in that room to cross through it to go somewhere else, or maybe we were just going to that room. I don't remember. And in the exact spot I had been standing, all the paper cups that were stacked up 20 feet away on that little beverage cart were thrown across the floor.
Yeah.
They were not there when I was there a few seconds earlier. They absolutely were not there because I was standing Andrew was standing there with me in that exact same spot.
Well, and then on the podcast, when we were talking about this experience, we were talking about the theater upstairs, and Chris mentions the name Charlie Chaplin. He said Charlie Chaplin, and if you don't know who that is, it was a real legendary silent film performer. He stayed here at the castle during the 20s, 30s, whenever his reign was going on. He stayed here and did some performances in Springfield. We're talking about Charlie Chaplin, and we get this random voice on the podcast. It's none of us that says, I knew him.
Yeah, and it wasn't a whisper. It wasn't distant.
No, it was, I knew him.
It was just a dude came on the mic and said that in a full, loud voice.
It's the same tone of voice that there's a guy that says that he haunts the basement. Mr. Boots is his name. Supposedly lives in the tunnel downstairs, and that's the voice. When Chris and I think it was Tyler were going through the tunnel. We've got a video of that where it says hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Just like you would if you were in a room and thought you heard someone come in.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And then we also cannot just look past the full-on shadow figure that we got when we were going down in the basement, and I look off and I see a full, and I'm talking about a full shadow. I mean, you can see, with your eyes, you can see it. Anytime you see that sort of thing, usually you've only got it for a tenth of a second. I tell Chris, I said, look at that down there. Chris looks down, sees the shadow figure, and is actually able to get his phone up and at least get a live photo of it as it's occurring.
Yeah, it was a picture I took super fucking quick.
Yep.
And when you press and hold it for the live photo, you can see a head, shoulders, a left arm, and both legs of a dude.
Yep. Yeah.
Standing down there.
And there's nobody down there.
Well, no, there's it's a dead end. Nobody. We were all standing at the mouth of the tunnel, and there was not a single person down there, but there sure was somebody down there. Something was down there at least. We could sit here and talk, for 3 more podcasts about different experiences we've had. We've heard whistling, we've heard humming, we've heard females, males.
And we've actually heard so much stuff on the podcast that if something happens and I'm late one week trying to get a podcast out, because I've been super, super busy with stuff going on in life, I will even just skip past a lot of the paranormal stuff that occurs on the podcast each week. It's that frequent.
Well, and you'll send the batch of, here's all the EVPs from this podcast. And sometimes we'll listen to them and we'll be like, yeah, I hear a whisper, but
it's just really not good enough.
We've heard that before.
Yeah, it's just not.
so sometimes we lose sight of,
Yeah, it's that common. I mean, the paranormal activity almost becomes, you just think it is. And we were, Chris and I were in here and we were setting up some stuff. He said, did you hear that? I said, yeah, it's just a ghost. And as I'm setting up stuff, he said, do you think we should go check that out? That could actually be a person. I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? That could be. We should go check that out.
That shit scares real people. Scare me way more.
Oh yes, yeah.
If I run into a homeless dude squatting in here, I'm going to be a lot more scared than if I hear if I see paper cups thrown across the floor. But yeah, we've just had so many different experiences happen. Many investigations we've been to, but we're focusing today exclusively on the castle because this is where we podcast every weekend.
And I can't say that other locations would not be as haunted. We always say this is the most haunted place. If we went to Ashley's house every single week like this, there would probably be some stuff. I think that part of the castle's so haunted because we're here so much.
And I don't think we're necessarily the ones who say it's the most haunted place. I know people say that, but I don't necessarily think that we do because we've been like Ashley's house in particular. There's so much happening there every time we go. Yeah, if we did a podcast there, it would probably be very similar and probably a little more aggressive.
Well, yeah, and also Ashley's house has more random characters. I mean, it's just you spin the wheel, and that's you're gonna get at Ashley's house. But as compared to here, it's usually pretty consistent. And there's always that same voice that will show up. The guy who sounds like the Boots voice.
Yeah, it did sound like the Boots voice because it sounded like the Boots voice that said hello, and then it sounded like the Boots voice that responded to the Charlie Chaplin thing.
Sounded like the exact same voice to me.
So how many podcasts make it to 300?
A lot less.
Not many. So that'll be our next goal, I guess. This was our 200th. We didn't have any really huge fanfare planned because, this is a bigger deal to us, than it is to, you guys listening. But because, to be honest with you, when we started, I didn't think we'd ever make it to 50. I didn't know if we'd have enough shit to do that much. It wasn't that I didn't think that we were going to be able to pull it off because we weren't, decent at it. I didn't think there'd be enough material to do it, but it turned out that was incorrect because this is episode 200 and I don't know. I think I'm good. Do you got anything else we need to mention on this one? I can't think of anything.
I think we've pretty well covered this horse.
Because we are going to come back and hopefully have at least some funny fucking stories from Devil's Elbow.
Yeah.
I can't think of one. Granted, we haven't done many, but I can't think of one outside investigation we've done where some funny shit hasn't happened. Hopefully, it's not the kind where we're looking back, in October
it's not
saying
the kind that's only funny in retrospect.
Yeah, remember back, a podcast in October, we're talking about, remember back in July when John was in jail? We had to bail him out. No, that's not going to happen. But you never know what's going to happen on these outside investigations. They're a wild card. We try not to do them, but we kind of set this up with the Route 66 being a big deal, which was in the past year. We didn't know it was going to be as big a deal as it was. And has that kind of crested and receded?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think so.
Know.
Well, I mean, it has the big anniversary has happened here in Springfield already, and so that has happened. But there's also part of the thing with the World Cup being in Kansas City, Missouri. One of the things going on with that. A lot of people coming in from outside the country for that. So it's getting people from Europe and everything else because that's like the Super Bowl for them. So they will come in for that. And a lot of those people do like the Route 66. So okay. they're traveling that. So that's also added fire to that.
Well, maybe they'll pick up on some of the shit we're slinging next weekend. We're going to... we're gonna see. We haven't even thought through. We're literally gonna drive up there next Saturday, arrive there during the day, and figure out what the fuck we're doing at that point. Because we're gonna wander around on the bridge and maybe the woods. Fuck, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's gonna be interesting and maybe even pretty fucking funny. But anyway, we'll be hopefully back with that. If not next week, in a couple weeks once we get it all lined up.
More Dark Matter on the way next week from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri, with Midwest Ghost Hunters.